Today's news, evidence released. Han Jung-yeon from Produce 101 accused of bullying, sexual abuse, and more.
For those of you that are interested in Korean skincare and makeup and K-pop, K-Gal is having a sale.
Right now, it is the Real Nature Cleansing Set. It includes a face wash, a cleanser, a moisturizer, and 2 face masks, 2 sheet masks, one of which is an EXO hydrogel mask.
Check the link in the top of the description box for that sale. Crazy wild accusations have recently popped up about Han Jung-yeon of Produce 101 and his past bullying and possible making a student masturbate in front of others from school accusations. You and I both looked into this quite a bit before filming this video, and I have one really strong point I'd like to make. I'd like to hear what you think first.
Well, I think that this was elementary school, and that's the first thing. And so this person has been very silent for a very long time, and I can totally understand why that could be possible. I don't want to say that this is absolutely true. I don't want to say it's not. I'm saying that this came up because it was announced that he is going to be one of the first people that's starring in Produce 101, and this person decided that this was a good point in time to exact their revenge, if you will, and finally maybe get some of this anger that has been building up for so many years off their chest and do something back.
Right, the person that you're talking about, his name is Lee Kang-to. He made the accusation on Facebook that he was bullied and that he was made to do these things from Han Jung-yeon. I just want to make sure I get their names correct. I have a statement here from the person making the bullying accusations. I heard you are coming out on TV. I still cry while waking up from dreams when you appear. I still want to die when I hear your name and see your face. I worried that if I post this, you and your friends would do something to me or my friends, but I'm no longer that cowardly child or the child who played by himself. Produce 101 Kiki, I hope you go high. I'll bring you down to the ground. I still cannot forget you making me masturbate in front of others when I was in elementary school, making me fight other classmates by calling us Pokemon, stuffing me in the supply closet, and making me skip lunch. But do you even remember me? The number of people you made suffer aren't just 1 or 2. I went back and forth between life and death during elementary school and middle school because of you. You were the school bully during elementary school and middle school. I'll give you back the pain you gave me. If anyone wants to talk to me about this, Facebook message me. Those are super strong accusations to make public.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a minute.
In reading through the comments on this article, or there's multiple different threads where there's lots of people commenting, everyone is sort of like, well, until it's proved, I don't want to blame him. And half the people are saying, well, it doesn't matter if it's proved or not, his career is ruined. I really agree with all of that. Lee Kang-to made the accusation on Facebook. His profile is linked down below, by the way. He's put up a whole bunch of different images of interaction and messaging that he's done recently with people. Han Jung-yeon's brother, for instance, he had a long exchange with him talking about the bullying and the possible witnesses that saw this multiple different types of bullying and acting out that happened in school with Han Jung-yeon. I think the angle that some people aren't thinking about is recently, or more recently, companies like SM Entertainment, YG Entertainment, Big Hit Entertainment are starting to really crack down on people that are falsely accusing idols of doing things wrong. This is really a step in the right direction. It's all just happening within Korea. So if you're making these bad accusations, for instance, saying somebody bullied somebody else, outside of Korea, you kind of are still in the clear, I think, but this person is in Korea. All of these notes are in Korean language and being translated over into English. I just really need to say that I feel like Lee Kang-to, who's making these accusations, has thought about this, about possibly being sued or retaliation from Mnet or whoever's in charge of Produce 101 prior to making these accusations. Like you said, it's bubbling up. It's been going on for a long time. I'm not saying that it's absolutely true. What I'm saying is I don't think he would make the accusation if it was completely false, because he knows he would probably get in a lot of trouble for that.
Yes, and the other thing is Korean society doesn't accept things like this. This is so against the grain, this collective, like you just smile and pretend that everything's okay and you just push it all down. To come out and to say things like this is to kind of put yourself in a somewhat dangerous situation, especially because this person's going to be famous or popular. You're also putting yourself out there, and there's a lot of people who think that you shouldn't do this.
It's a big risk, right? He probably wouldn't do it unless it was most likely true.
It reminds me of a lot of other things, like, for example, yes, if he was forced to masturbate in public, like he said he was forced to in elementary school, like, that is sexual abuse. Sexual abuse survivors, most of them just keep silent. And I think that him actually coming out and talking about this is very brave of him. Like, I personally think that he's not lying. I know that some people are like, whatever. But I think that in order to actually do this is to... You must have such a vendetta against this person. He must be so angry. Whatever he did to hurt this guy really hurt him deeply.
Survivors of bullying, and there are so many of you out there, it is a real situation that is very, very hard to deal with long term after the bullying has finished, because usually the victims have suffered a lot and you just have this constant conversation going on in your head. Whatever the bullying was, it never goes away until possibly the situation is resolved, and then it still doesn't go away, but you just tend to be able to deal with it a little bit better. Putting myself in his shoes, he feels like he's backed into such a corner. He has no other place to turn.
Han Jong-yeon may be a completely different person now. I don't doubt that he probably is. He's probably left his bullying past. He's a different person.
He's trying to be a different person.
Or
He's still very young, so like how much can you change from birth until age 17, 18, however old he is?
He's 20.
Okay, so well, he's 18 because he's 20 Korean age.
There's been a lot of years that have passed. He may be a completely different person, but deep down, this guy is going to be famous. He's going to have all these people loving him and fawning over him, and I know what he's really like deep down. So I can understand why he's taking action now. I think this also sheds a lot of light into the problem of bullying in South Korea, because it is a huge problem in South Korea. You only need to go and do a simple Google search, bullying in South Korea, to see tons of articles of some really nasty bullying. You don't usually hear about it in elementary school. You usually hear about it in high school or middle school, but there's a lot of reasons why bullying occurs, and there hasn't been until recent years a whole lot of action against it.
And if you think about their education style, they're all still going into classrooms once they get into first year middle school of 40 students plus. Everybody's supposed to sit, be quiet. There's really very little participation in most classrooms. Most people, we're finding out these days, don't fit into that model. Like 20% of everyone really fits into that. Han Jong-yeon, if he wants to be an entertainer, certainly didn't fit into the standard public school model of education, which might be one of the reasons why he was acting out. I'm not defending him. I'm saying these are reasons why this sort of thing happens.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why things like this happens. Being in school for so many hours. Some Korean kids are in school up to 16 hours a day. Also, there's tons of parental pressure to be the top of your class. It's all very competitive, because even when I taught elementary school, I would have to give tests and rank the students every single day.
And they knew all their rankings amongst each other.
Yes, and I dealt with bullying. I saw bullying. I had a kid throw a desk at me when I was teaching my first year because he was a bully, and he was still allowed to stay in school. Growing up in the US, that kid would have been suspended, but because I was going to a private academy where their parents paid to put the kid in the school doesn't want the money to go away. They want more money, so they just try to smooth out the bullying.
Since this information is related to education that's coming out, the bullying that is, I must say, we get a lot of correspondence from you guys to our email about going to teach in South Korea or just about our educational experience working over there in general. We get surveys sent at us. One of the questions that comes up often is South Korean education really one of the best in the world? And if you're judging it by standardized testing, then possibly the answer is yes. But if you're judging it by whole education, like people really being educated about life, like I don't think South Korean education is at the top. It's at the top if you're testing students, and if you're testing students in unorthodox or very new modern type of like real world experience ways. No, South Korean education is way behind. So that question is a loaded question, and I felt like saying that. No, I think a lot of people are confused on what is good education because things are changing 21st century. I mean, if you take the internet into consideration, we're learning more than we ever realize about ourselves. And if you make a kid sit in a classroom with the teacher up in front, I mean, yeah, that's one way of doing it, but that might not be the best way for most kids, we're finding out.
I was a little shocked to find out about this because it's like all of this past bullying, past issues have been arising lately, first with Boys 24, now with Produce 101 Season 2. When you look at society as a whole, when you're going to get a big collective of different people, you're going to have all types of people, and some have histories and some have past. And both of these groups, for example, are made up of a lot of different people with very varied backgrounds. You know, there's probably at least a couple of gay guys in there. There's, you know,
right.
there's all kinds of things. It's just, that's the makeup of society. And so because you're looking at these large quantities of people, that does not surprise me that you're having one or two here with bad pasts. I hope that this gets squashed, but I don't think that this is going to affect Produce 101 as a whole in the future. At least I hope not.
I think there's two issues going on here, and one is bigger than the other one. The bigger one is that if there is bullying, we should talk about it because nobody wants to be bullied anymore. And so as much as this is going to affect this guy's career, it sucks for him. But the bigger issue is if there's bullying, we should as a society not stand for that, I think. So the dialogue, at least between you and I with a camera here, happens.
And it's a part of humanity right now that unfortunately does need to be addressed, but it is humanity and it is things that do occur in amongst human boys.
And everyone. We know that this is a very sensitive topic. Please comments below. I want to know what you guys think. How scary is it if in fact this is true? And if it's really false, why would this guy come out on his public Facebook and risk getting himself in trouble?
I'm really wondering and looking forward to seeing how this develops as time goes on.
Bullying should not be tolerated, so at least we are having a dialogue about that. Click the like button, comments down below. Thank you so much for supporting us. Click the bell for notifications. Check out the link to K-Gal, and don't forget to subscribe for more HallyuBack news. That's it. We're out of here. Hasta luego.
Bye.